Here's Brody Brazil.
If you've got a question or a comment or any kind of contribution to this YouTube channel, call it in right now, 833-4-BRODY. Leave a great voicemail, and I'll get to play it back on a future video.
Hey, Brody, this is Devin from Tampa. Thank you so much for all the coverage that you've been doing. You've done a great job.
Thank you.
With an outsider's point of view. So my question to you is, obviously the Rays sale itself is pretty much almost done.
Probably.
But what is your take on MLB stepping in here in Tampa, but not affording the same opportunity to Oakland? Because there's a lot of similarities, I think, cheap ownership. The Rays at least were winning and didn't sell off as bad as the A's. So
Right.
It almost seems like John Fisher was worse, and he got rewarded with moving the team to Las Vegas, where Stu kind of got forced out. So I just kind of wanted to get your take and how that makes you feel. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Devin, thank you very much for finding me here on the YouTube channel and for calling in. And I think the term you're searching for is double standard, right? MLB's double standard for what was going on in Tampa and what was going on in Oakland. And there are some similarities, but it also is kind of apples and oranges, both fruit, but different varieties. Nothing is identical. We understand that. I also want to declare, before I get into any type of response, which I'm going to slide here on the screen in just a second, this is not me taking the side of Oakland A's fans or Tampa Bay Rays fans and saying it's one versus the other here. What I'm about to say in this video is Oakland's relationship with Major League Baseball versus Tampa's relationship with Major League Baseball, or the other way around, baseball's relationship with either city. This is baseball versus these two markets, and not these two markets versus each other. With that established, Fisher versus Sternberg. And if we're looking at it that way, yeah, one person, I think, ran a franchise a lot different than the other, and one person got the golden key to go move and waived relocation fee and unanimous vote to move, and the other, it seems, to a certain degree, a lot of people have said that maybe Sternberg didn't get pressure by baseball to sell the team. But then why would he be selling the team? Is he just disinterested? Did he never have the love? Does John Fisher really love the A's a lot more than Stu Sternberg doesn't love the Rays? Hard to ever know that precisely. Neither of those two are very front-facing or very public figures. They don't talk about that specifically. But let me go back to the core of this. Oakland fans had it worse. And again, if you're in Tampa, I know you have not had it easy either. This is not about you for a second. I'm just saying Oakland fans had it worse. Moneyball was happening when the Rays were still in their infant years of existence, right? This has been going on, this sign and sell and swap and flip the team and have a bad stadium and don't improve it. Like, this has been going on so much worse for A's fans than it ever has for Rays fans, Oakland A's fans. That being said, A's fans put up a huge fight. There was the entire sell movement and the reverse boycott and shirts and banners and flags and social media. I really don't see, and I do get it. There are Rays fans who are visibly upset, but you don't see that to any of the same degree that you saw it from Oakland A's fans. Now, is that why baseball turned its shoulder on Oakland and turned its back on Oakland? And that's why baseball jumped in and tried to keep the Rays in Tampa, or at least in the state of Florida? And we'll talk about Rob Manfred going down to visit Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. When did Rob Manfred ever come out to Oakland? Even to meet with the mayor one-on-one. If I recall, the mayor had to go find the commissioner at the 23 All-Star game up in Seattle. Like, the commissioner never came out to meet with Gavin Newsom or anybody from California, or the other way around. California's governor never pursued Rob Manfred about this. So again, nobody stood up for Oakland. Oakland fans had to stand up for themselves, and then they got blamed for it. You rarely ever hear, like, Rays attendance has not been great. And people will say, well, it's the stadium, it's Tropicana Field, it's in St. Pete, it's across the bridge from Tampa. And okay, well, the Coliseum has never been in the ideal location either. It's proximity-wise, it's close. But you could also look across the bay and see Oracle Park over there, and that's the competition. So again, apples and oranges, but it feels like Oakland fans were blamed more for their lack of showing up and for their resistance. Rays fans kind of just keep it cool. They're upset, but it's not as visually outstanding. So maybe that's part of baseball's approach. They're taking care of somebody who hasn't kind of snapped back at them. Yeah, Rob Manfred and baseball basically assured Rays fans that the team would not be leaving the state of Florida. Now, when the whole Dreamers thing popped up in the early months, late months of spring and early months of this summer, like that was serious consideration. And all of a sudden, Manfred saying won't leave the state. Well, does that mean they're going 90 miles and, 2 hours drive to the north up to Orlando? That was a possibility, but at least Manfred said here are the parameters. They are not leaving the state. They're not leaving the area. With the A's, it's like they're leaving Oakland to go to Sacramento to hopefully, as they plan, end up in Las Vegas. But Salt Lake City was also consideration for being the temporary home. And I think Salt Lake City is still trying to figure out if this is all said and done, whether they have a chance or not at gaining Major League Baseball. But Rob Manfred was so insistent on coming to Florida, ironing this out, being proactive in the process. None of that ever took place on the Oakland side of things. Baseball also unanimously approved the A's relocation and then waived relocation fees. Two parts on that. Number one, when do you ever get 30 people in a room to unanimously agree on anything these days? Like favorite food, best movie of the decade, political sentiments. Like nobody's ever going to agree on there's nothing unanimous in 2025. So what happened there? You're telling me that not even the Padres, whose owner had passed away a couple days before, like the Padres weren't going to vote no on this? 5 other teams weren't going to vote no on this? They all really came to the same conclusion of yes? And then the relocation fees being waived. I'm just saying, why say that's a thing and have that as a thing? And $500 million changes the entire process. It absolutely does. Look at the funding of the stadium right now and how those financials are or are not working out. So interesting in retrospect, you would never have heard that from the Rays situation. Would they have had their fee waived if they moved to Orlando, or would baseball say, well, we waived it for the A's, but we want to keep it intact for the Rays? They probably would have had to have waived it. Anyway, I digress. Oakland was also in a dual market, A's and Giants. And maybe that was a Major League Baseball sentiment of, well, we need to protect this in Tampa and St. Pete because it's not like there is a team in Tampa and St. Pete. That's like what we had here in the Bay Area, San Francisco and Oakland. So maybe baseball's view was, well, they've got the Giants and their team allegiance out there doesn't matter, which is ridiculous, by the way. Are you telling me that Angels fans should just wave the white flag and go become Dodger fans? Should White Sox fans say we're done? And I am picking the smaller teams out of the two. Should Mets fans say, you know what, we're Yankees fans now? You know what, you're right, Rob Manfred. We don't need 2 teams here in New York. So we'll just all submit. We'll all become fans of the other team, which we were born and raised specifically not to be fans of. But because you say so, we'll do that. Oakland being a dual market, definitely different than Tampa and all of this. And I do believe that, again, it was the pressure of the fans and the dual market situation. Baseball doesn't understand these things because they're not on the West Coast. They're not in California. They're not in the Bay Area. Rob Manfred is out in New York. How many times has he ever visited the Bay Area? A few, but not commonly. So I don't think he has the feel about this. And going to the temporary situation of the Rays and A's and how they're similar and different. Yes, similar in that they're both in minor league ballparks. A hurricane ripped through Florida, a couple of them did, and Hurricane Milton destroyed Tropicana Field late last year. The Rays had no choice but to play in a minor league stadium this year. The A's specifically chose that. They got approved to do that. If it's embarrassing for the Rays to be there, no, this is trouble, this is a problem, and this is not great, and the schedule's bad, and the heat and the humidity are terrible. We're lucky here in Northern California that it wasn't even a hot summer. There should have been 120-degree days and games out in Sacramento in the last couple months, and there weren't. So that's this year. We'll see what the next 2 years bring. But Again, the A's they were allowed to choose this and to go this terribly unconventional path, whereas the Rays were kind of forced into it. So, bottom line, I know a lot of Rays fans watch this channel. I've tried to cover that situation in fairness. You know I've always pulled for the Rays to stay where they're at, in the Tampa Bay region. Get a new stadium, get new ownership, whatever makes you happy, keep the team there. I'm on Rays fan side, but I also have to defend Oakland fans here. And if I'm putting them side by side, I think I can safely say that baseball has treated the Rays and Tampa a lot different than they ever treated Oakland and its fans. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. Do you agree with that? Am I wrong? If you're from Tampa, can you understand where I'm coming from? Also, thumbs up on this video down there helps me, the video, and the channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you back here next time.